on several times a day. But I didn't watch Stephen Colbert. I used to watch The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And then, he comes on directly after that. And when I first saw Stephen Colbert, I thought, wow, Stephen Colbert's really a jerk. He's such a jerk, But then I kept watching him and I was fascinated. And then I started to realize that this guy was really just a satire, and he's a brilliant satirist. And I started really getting into all the funny little quirky things that he does, and I got hooked.
Oh, wow.
I got hooked on Stephen.
And when was that, would you say?
That was actually about 1.5 years ago.
And before Stephen Colbert, have you looked up to any other comedians or anything?
Well, when I was little, when I was younger, I liked Rich Little because he did impressions. And when I was in 2nd grade, I did my first stand-up comedy show in a talent show in 2nd grade. And I can't believe I had the nerve to do it. I was only in 2nd grade. I did Edith Ann impressions for about 5 minutes. I'm surprised that I was able to do that. I also like, so I like Lily Tomlin, of course, and Gracie Allen. Gracie Allen's one of my favorite. I sort of considered myself like an R-rated Gracie Allen because I'm really very sweet. Yeah. But a little racy sometimes.
Now, tell me a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and what you did before comedy.
Well, I grew up in New York City, and yes, I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh.
So don't
All right,
hurt me.
cancel the show.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
It's over.
No, and but I went to growing up in New York City was fabulous. I loved it. It was magical, and I loved the theater. And I used to go. And of course, I was in plays in school and all that. And basically, I had a great time in New York City. And I like Boston, but New York is the best.
And like there's various comedy clubs in New York as well. One of the main ones is in Manhattan, the Gotham City one, I'm pretty sure.
Not sure.
But,
we used to sneak into a lot of clubs.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got to sneak into clubs.
Did you used to perform when you were younger?
No, I didn't really perform that much. I just basically did impromptu kind of things in school and classes and stuff. And everyone always said, oh, you should be a stand-up comedian. I never kind of had the nerve to do it until I became an adult.
And now that you've finished Bob's class, would you want to go back to New York to perform more in front of your hometown or whatever?
I'd love to go back to New York City and perform. That's a dream.
Yeah.
But I love Boston. There's so many clubs in Boston that I can perform at and do open mic nights. So that's okay too.
Yeah. And who are some of the other inspirations you have?
Well, I've always liked Steve Martin, just because he's silly. I tend to like silly comedians.
Yep.
I love that movie All of Me. That's hilarious. And I know you're going to ask me the movie question, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get it over with right now.
All right.
All right.
What's your favorite 2009, 2010
Well,
movie?
I think it was Avatar.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was really my favorite. I'm kind of a little bit confused by it, though, because first of all, a lot of people got really depressed after that movie, and I don't see why. I just tell them to get a life. But this might be a little racy. Is it okay if I say it about Avatar?
Sort of. Let's fill in the race part with my cameraman's name, Mitsuru.
No, well,
that's okay.
No, it's just kind of,
or say something else like FedEx.
Well, I just kind of have.
Yeah, use FedEx.
FedEx. No, well, I just kind of have a question about it. You know how the people would ride the dragons and they would sort of plug in that thing that they had, that organ, and the Avatar had that organ. So, was that bestiality? I mean, were they having sex with animals? I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I mean, did you get that from that movie?
There was a bunch of different stuff going on.
No, but yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did like that movie a lot.
It was great.
It was a good movie. It was a fine
movie,
fantasy.
Yeah. And
it was a fine fantasy.
A lot of blue characters there.
Yeah, the cyanotic looking characters, yeah.
I can't see 3D, so I didn't see anything in 3D.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
cool.
was the downfall about that. But
that was a cool movie.
Yeah, that was really good, really impressive.
I also, you asked me what I did before comedy. I wrote some books actually, and I had them self-published,
nice.
and I did bring them with me. One of them was about, I lived in Austria when I was in college for 5 months. I was a German major.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote this book, Drinking Like a Tuna Fish in Austria, My Studies Abroad. And basically it was an assignment that we had. And it was to just keep a journal. And I didn't even get a grade on it because they said it was too personal.
Yeah.
But it's really very funny. I want you to have it.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. And
Do you like to read any certain part about it?
well, there are some limericks that I wrote, silly little limericks
Did you
that I
do these
wrote.
drawings too?
No, I had an artist do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And yeah, you can read one of the limericks if you want. I don't know.
What page is that on?
Well, I have them paper clipped. Which one should I have you?
Should I use my broadcasting voice?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, read one for us.
Okay. I'll read the entry before that as well. Okay. Let's see. Gotta have my glasses.
Story time, everybody.
Okay.
There we go.
March 6th. At dinner time, I went to my favorite little guest house on Rupertgasse for a Würstel. I took my book with me because I wanted to read. Some elderly Austrian guy in lederhosen and boots kept nudging me to get my attention away from my book. I told him to take a hike, but he wouldn't stop bugging me. He kept trying to introduce me to a couple of his friends who kept winking at me and licking their chops. I was so disgusted I got up and moved to the table at the other end of the room. Then I wrote a dirty limerick on a napkin, finished my Würstel and went home. And here's my limerick. Lederhosen and loden coats. I'm being fondled by some Austrian goats. Sitting in a restaurant bar, just who do they think they are? I'm an artist inspired by the muse. Those goats are horny, inspired by the booze. So that's one of my dirty limericks.
That's really good.
Thanks.
That's from Lisa Schaefer, right here, if we could zoom in on that. There
Thanks.
it is. And do you have these for sale, or?
Well, I did have them on consignment at the Trident bookstore on Newbury Street for a while.
Yeah.
A couple of them sold.
Oh, wow.
And then I also used to work at Mass General, and I have another book called How to Survive an MRI Scan. And this is a book for claustrophobics.
Yeah.
And I just give them suggestions about what they could do while they're in the scanner. And let's see, one of them is, imagine yourself hired as an interplanetary diplomat on his or her way to a peace mission to stop intergalactic war. I was a big sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have in here? Have an ill-mannered conversation with the scanner. Take a nap, but try not to snore. Yeah, you can't move when you're in an MRI scanner. You got to stay. So that's that one.
Hard.
Then there's Chair Squeaker, and that's just a book of short stories that I compiled. Some of them are quite amusing.
When did you write these?
This I wrote, I believe it was 2006. Got some testimonials in it. This I wrote in 2004.
Oh, wow.
And then I used to have a spontaneous writing sort of company called the Wild Pens. And we did that in 1996, circa 1996. And that was really neat. We went to street fairs, and we got on TV, we got on Chronicle. We were interviewed by Mike Barnacle.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
And on Emerson Radio, the Boston Herald wrote about us, the Globe. That was lots of fun. That was improv writing. Basically, you would give me a topic, anything, I don't know, Brazilian bananas or something like that. And I would write about it for about 5 minutes while you walked around the fair. And when you came back, you would have a prose or poetry piece based on the suggestion you gave me.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah.
The Wild Pens.
So you have a lot of writing. Are you thinking of putting together like another book or about anything?
Well, I have writing in my soul.
Yeah.
I will write till the day I die. And I love writing my comedy routine.
Yeah.
I was a born writer.
That's good.
Definitely.
And speaking of your comedy routine, can you tell me a little bit about Lisa Shaver comedy, and when you get up on stage, what are the different mannerisms you have and so forth?
Well, I am half Sicilian. I do have tons of mannerisms. I do. But my routine does talk about Stephen Colbert, and because I love Stephen.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, sort of like, the premise is that I'm sort of like a fake stalker for Stephen. So that's kind of funny, the way that comes out. And then I do different things, like there's one routine that I